Hi, I'm Sal Mercogliano. I'm an associate professor of history at Campbell University in North Carolina. I'm a former merchant mariner, and I teach a course in maritime industry policy for the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. Welcome to the latest episode, April 8th, 2021, on what's going on in the Suez. Not a lot of change has gone on in the Suez. Recently, Ever Given is still at anchor in the Great Bitter Lake. But one of the new things is the Egyptians are continuing to make one concession, one issue before they will let the vessel go, and it's one demand and one demand only. Actually, it's $1 billion is what they're requesting. The Egyptians are requesting $1 billion from Evergreen to get the vessel freed and on her way, which is not going to happen anytime soon, I don't think, from Evergreen. Right now, there's an investigation going on. The Saudis are, or excuse me, the Egyptians are completing their investigation, the Suez Canal Authority. But there's also concurrent investigations being done by the insurance companies, by the Flag of Registry, by the Classification Society, and these type of things take a long time to happen. In the United States, it's over a year usually for these marine investigations. So not exactly clear what's going to happen with Ever Given. Latest images of Ever Given show her on an even keel. She's not listing. She's not down by the bow anymore, which means they have basically controlled the flooding that had been happening up in the forward compartments. They are able to keep her on an even keel. She's going to have to go into a shipyard because she did suffer damage. They're probably going to get the cargo off her before they go in the shipyard, but because you can't really bring fully laden vessels in the dry docks, especially her. Her cargo was intended for Felixstowe in Great Britain, Hamburg, Germany, and Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Those are the big terminals in Europe right now. Obviously, the people who own the cargo want the cargo off. The other issue here is general average has been declared, meaning that the cargo is going to have to pay a certain amount or a percentage of the salvage to be released from the vessel. So, no telling what happens with this. The Suez Canal Authority, in the meantime, has come out and they're talking about changes to the Suez Canal. One of the things they're talking about, which is a bold statement here, is to get some cranes in there to potentially offload cargo up to 52 meters, 150 feet in the air. That's a tough one. That's an expensive effort right there to have floating cranes on standby that you don't use too often. That's a lot of money. It also gives me a fuzzy feeling that the Egyptians don't think this may happen again, which is interesting. They did say, as they say here, that our procedures are sound. We're just aiming to improve the service. They talked about potentially expanding the southern section of the canal, widening it a bit. I doubt they would ever put a second lane in because it's too difficult. It's too, putting in a second separate lane would be too tough. They'd be more likely to expand the lane that exists now. I think they'd be better just to dredge it more, but I don't think you're ever going to get two-way traffic in that southern lane. One of the issues here is that when the Egyptians expanded the canal in 2015, it cost them a lot of money, over $8 billion. And when you look at this expansion, this is from the Suez Canal Authority website right here. You see the scope of that expansion of how much they expanded the canal from the original canal here in 1956. You see that the vessels were able to handle a draft up to 35 feet, 30,000 deadweight tons. By 1980, it expanded to 53 feet, 150,000 deadweight tons. Come down here, 2001, you got a draft of 62 feet, 210,000 tons, but that's still difficult because of the draft restrictions there. And then in 2010, this is the most recent expansion. It actually was started in 2010. It wasn't complete until 2015. You can now handle vessels up to 66 feet, 240,000 tons in the canal. So they've been expanding the canal, and understand, expanding that canal is a difficult process. It is not easy by any means. Both the Suez and the Panama canals have been expanded, and you'll see the list right there. Suez Canal site. This is the Suez Canal Authority site, www.suezcanal.gov.eg. I'll have it links for all these articles and this in the show notes. Has a lot of history on the canal, a lot of things you can kind of look at here and take a look at. The other impacts coming out, and all these are coming off G Captain right now, so they're all available for you right here. Global supply lines struggle to clear container backlog after Suez chaos. So again, one of the things we're seeing is because of the 400 and something ships that were jammed up there because of Ever Given, it's caused a cascade effect in the maritime logistics chain. And we're just starting to see that right now. Matter of fact, the following story here talks about this. The calm before the storm. European ports await the influx of ships impacted by the Suez blockage. Rotterdam, in particular, which is one of the biggest terminals in Europe, doesn't have a lot of space there for excess ships. It tries to keep a minimum amount of ships on berth there and bring them right to the dock. What you're about to see may be a repeat of what we're seeing right now off the west coast of the United States, off Long Beach and Los Angeles, where vessels are waiting to come in. This has the potential to cause a cascade effect again here in vessels being late. And what this means is really not so much shortages. You're not really going to see shortages on the shelves, but one of the things you'll probably see is additional costs as prices go up because of delays for fuel. Remember, Ever Given's cargo isn't just from Asia to Europe. A lot of that cargo that comes off vessels like Ever Given and others like her get offloaded and then transloaded to other vessels for further voyages. These are big feeder ships. They don't go into ports for solely discharge. They go in and their cargo is moved onto other vessels. It's about 50-50 if you sail from Hong Kong to, for example, New York. It's about 50-50 whether you go the Suez Canal or the Panama Canal route in terms of distance. So this is a big issue that we're about to see happen here. Other stories here I thought were really interesting is in the midst of all this, container shipping had its best quarter in history last year. 2021 could be even better. This is a report, a great commentary here by somebody I know, John McCowan from Blue Alpha Capital, which is a investment group, really does a report, kind of weekly report on containers and container ships and container trade in the United States. And one of the things we're seeing is just really the booming industry. It's just through the roof. They're making money. They're making money. The container liners. We see that happening right here. And as you see right here, he talks about the fact that they looked at the net earnings for the 11 carriers, and again, the top nine are in those conferences together. So what you see here is big profits, combined net profit of $10.2 billion. So shipping is a money making field if you know exactly where to put your money. It's always a big issue. Not sure how Evergreen's going to fare. You'll see along here, talked about right here, Taiwanese carriers, Evergreen, Yang Ming went high as an example of turnaround. Alphaliner noted the lines had profited from soaring trans-Pacific rates and the added rate impact of box shortages. If you remember back in one of my earlier videos, while Evergiven was still hung up, Evergreen put an order in for Korean shipyards for 20 new ships, 10 of them the size of the Evergiven, or actually bigger than the Evergiven. Talking about 24,000 size box vessels. So the container industry is bullish in what's going on. In other news, John Conrad and I are going to start a little video. We're going to film it probably on Fridays and we'll release it over the weekend. Kind of a recap of the week's news. But we're going to focus on just a few stories. We don't get a chance to talk about too many. We'll talk about the biggest one that hit the G Captain site. We'll each pick our own stories we want to talk about. Well, one of the ones I thought a couple of the stories that were interesting right now going on. I've talked about the marine fuel issue that was happening, but understand the maritime industry is not without its dangers. This is a story today. Bulker and tanker damage in Manila Bay collision. Manila Bay, one of the big hubs right there. And you'll see right here that a Panamanian flag tanker, the Rich Rainbow, and the Marshall Islands flag bulk carrier IV Alliance came into contact. You'll see right there that is the tanker right there. That's the Rich Rainbow right there on the side, and that's the bow there of the motor vessel Alliance that you see damaged right there. Unfortunately, bumper boats happens all too frequently at times, especially in tight anchorages, believe it or not. Limited mobility, not able to maneuver as much, and miscommunications, usually the chief factors. Other thing, there was two big salvages going on at the same time that we're talking about Ever Given, which are really interesting. This one right here, this is a salvage of a vessel off the coast of Norway. This is the Eemslift Hendrika. This is a Norwegian heavy lift vessel. She was transporting yachts in the North Sea. And she started to flood, lost way, and basically her cargo shifted on deck. Actually lost a yacht, went off the side. And so they're in the process of salvaging her right now. right off the coast of Norway. Matter of fact, we see right here. You see the images right here of her coming in. Interesting story. You can see that she's starting to flood right there, coming down. Smith Salvage has been hired to do the salvage here. This is what they typically will do. Go out there. You can see some of the yachts on the vessel right there. Those big cranes were used to hoist them on and off. So she was acting as a heavy lift vessel in this. At the same time, a Dutch container ship right here, the Escape, had a bit of a problem where the ship's rudder got hung up, and they started to do a series of circles in the ocean, round and round. She went a few times there, basically not able to get control of the vessel. That rudder kind of got jammed over, and she was not able to get it. Mike Schuller, who's one of the editors for G Captain, talked about that, and he used that phrase "round and round" is where it came from right there. About 25 circles until they're eventually able to stop her. And you may ask why they keep going. You don't always want to stop. You don't want to get caught in swells. So even going in circles, at least you're moving. You have way on. You're not letting the seas catch you and put you in the trough between the peaks of the waves, and you get beat on there. Looks like she was able to get herself unstuck there, and and she's going to be towed into port shortly. So this is kind of things that go on all the time in the maritime industry, not too unusual. So you see these things happen. They don't always grab the attention because of like Ever Given. Uh, she did it in the Suez, and plus you had some great memes. Who didn't love the digger? So anyway, that's where we're at for today. We'll keep you posted in what's going on. Hopefully, we get more news. We're waiting for the Suez Canal to drop their report. Again, I'm going to be really interested to see who they blame for this. Again, my money is not on the Suez. They'll blame everybody else but them. But that's my estimate of what's going to happen. So thanks for tuning in. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you'll know about new videos, share it with your friends. Again, a quick little tidbit of maritime news, always good. Always good to talk about ships and boats. And I'll try to make it lively for you guys and try to keep this going as long as I can. So thanks.